Hello and welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and today I'm moving off Sudoku onto a puzzle type that Simon did yesterday. This is pentominoes, and this puzzle is by the great Ard van der Wettering. And Simon mentioned in his video yesterday that we had this puzzle and wondered if people wanted to see more pentominoes, and the response was pretty unanimous that they do. So I'm going to have a go at this. Now, that's a worry for me in a way. Simon's far better at this sort of puzzle than I am, so we'll see how it goes. I hope my only saving grace in terms of the potential video time is that this is a smaller grid than he was solving, so we'll see how we get on. Now, the rules of pentominoes are that you have to fill the grid with pentomino shapes. Now, the grid is just the white area. What we've done below is show you what all the pentomino shapes are, including the letters that designate them. So for obvious reasons, I is a long straight 5-piece shape. T is this one's an upside down T, but you can see that it is the shape of a T. W sort of has the shape of a W, and so on. And those are kind of the official notation for pentomino shapes. If you can believe that exists, it does. Now, the way we have to fill in this puzzle is we have to fill in the grid completely with pentomino shapes. Wherever there is a letter in the grid, that letter represents the shape on that cell. And no two shapes of the same type can touch each other orthogonally. That is the rule. So if Z was here, you couldn't then have another Z up there, or indeed another sort of rotated Z sitting there, because it would still be touching it. But you could have one diagonally touching there. So those are the rules. Ard is a brilliant setter. He normally has sent us Sudoku puzzles, so this is going to be interesting to see how his pentominoes works. Now, one other thing before I start, Simon has challenged me to say the word pentomino more times than he did recording his video yesterday. Don't worry, I'm only joking. He said it a lot and it was commented on a lot, so I won't be doing that all that much, but I'm sure I'll say it a few times. So, with that, do feel free to try the puzzle on the grid. Don't think there's going to be any checking available though. And what I'll be basically doing is just colouring shapes. You don't have to colour them in the same colours we've used in the explanation bit below. Just any colours that are different will enable you to see if you're completing the puzzle correctly, I would think. So feel free to try it on the link below the video. I'm going to have a go now. Let's get cracking. Where do we start? Well, okay, the eyes, well, yeah, both eyes are somewhat hemmed in. So eye is a 5x1 rectangle. So this eye, for instance, has got to include those 4 cells. Now it could go up to there or it could go down to there. I'm going to just leave that for a moment. This eye clearly doesn't go horizontally, so it must include those 3 cells. I'm going to make it the same colour because those eyes can't possibly touch. But now what can we do? Well, this eye has constrained what this F can do. If you look at the F shape, you'll see down here that it kind of always fills a 3x3 rectangle. So wherever it sits, it has to use 3 rows and 3 columns. Now we can see straight away that to fit into a 3rd column that's not column 1 or 2, that F is going to have to touch this cell. So there are 2 ways I can think of, no, 3 ways that it could do that. This one is clearly impossible because it would hive off a 2-cell area that couldn't be in the shape map. Now, this one is theoretically possible, but we would run into a problem with this P, because there you could fit an L shape in at the top only from here. Therefore, the only possible rendition of the F shape, I believe, is that. It's not impossible as I solve this puzzle that I will have to go backwards and correct myself. That sort of thing can happen. Anyway, that F shape has meant that we can do the P shape. It's this sort of 2x2 square plus an extra piece. So I can put that in there. That's probably not a great color choice to sit next to purple, so I'll make it green. Okay. Now L involves two cells next to each other, and L, as you can see down here, is a 4-cell run with one on the end. So obviously it's not 4 cells along here. It would crash into the eyes. Now it could either be that or that. Now this version, actually let's finish off this eye first, because that's 5 cells long, so we can do that now. Now this version of L is only theoretically possible because you can't, it would leave these 3 cells to be filled by something else. Now obviously it can't be an I because it would run into that P, and the reason it can't be an L is because because of this rule that 2 similar shapes can't touch each other. So we're going to just not put an L in that position because we've proved that this bit can't be filled. So L must be in that position. Let's use blue there. Right, now that's what I would consider the easy bits done, because now we have to kind of branch out into other parts of the puzzle. And now, can this eye go all the way up here and include that? No, because these 3 again would have to be filled either by an I or an L, and in either case they would touch the other L and I. So the I must come down at least 1 more. Now I'm going to speculate about whether this cell can still be in the I. I think it can, because we could have a V pentomino going round here, and that would break everything out, and then we could put a P in there or something else. So that does seem to be possible. The alternative is down there. I don't see a way of ruling that out particularly. That's tricky. So I don't think we can make much more progress with the eye at the moment. Now let's have a look at U and L, which are kind of hemmed in here. Actually, let's just quick glance at Z first. Z only has one type of 2-cell run that's then blocked off. So it would have to either be here, here, or here. And those are various possibilities, but let's just bear them in mind as where Z could be. L now it has a little run of cells. Surely that L must include this piece here. I think it's got to, because wherever it appears in the straight run, there are 4 cells in a row. So it's either there, there, or there. But U is much more interesting. U is in this shape down here. And given that it appears between a P and a Z there, it must either be in that shape or that shape. Now let's see if this is possible, because this is quite constraining, so it might be impossible. If U facing that way exists, then this P has to be like that. Now we've got some difficult stuff to fill in here. That could be Y or N, leaving one of these 2 spaces to be filled. Now this can't be another P, and that's a potential problem. Yes, that is a problem, because we're postulating this P here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, there are 10 cells up here. Oh no, okay, there is a way you could have I there, L in the white gap, V round there. Oh, okay, that does work. So I cannot rule that out. I thought I might be able to rule everything out because P would have to be touching P. Okay, couldn't rule it out that way. V down here. Yeah, there's various possibilities. Oh no, of course, we would have U filled in as well. So V down there. Yeah, this could be I or Y. Or L, maybe. Okay, so that is possible. Let's try U facing this way. Now this is immediately very constraining on the Z, obviously. So the Z would have to look like this. The I would have to fill that gap now. Couldn't be filled by the L. So we'd have all of that covered. Now, how many cells have we cut off here? 9, 16, 19, 23, 25. Okay, that would be 5 full pentominoes. So that is possible. Now, you'd have to have a P here. You'd have to have Y up here. Crikey, because you couldn't have L because it would be touching the L. Oh, that is possible. What about down here? If we can't rule any of these out, I'm in trouble. No, this is difficult down here. So let's just bring it back. Look at the U and the Z. Oops, let's get that right. U is like that. I'm actually going to colour them just to show us what we've got. U there, Z there. And I think this is breaking. Now, that we said has to be part of the I. Now, the L shape here and the Y shape there. Y, remember, has to use at least 2 columns. So, it's either going to block off cells, if you made it like that, it's going to block off cells that can't be part of L, or like that, the same thing. Or it's going to have one cell jutting out onto the side and block off cells, so that's not possible. So the only way it could slot in would be Y there, L there, and then you've got an impossibility down here, because I would kill off that cell. So you cannot be facing round this way. Okay, that's a bit of a shock, because I thought we were probably going to prove that it was facing round that way, but it's not. It is facing round this way. So, okay, let's go back to where we got to before. That is a shape. P is a shape there. Let's put it in as purple. Now, what did we decide up here? There was only one way to do this, I think. If green was an I going all the way down. Now, the reason for that is because either that shape leaves a P here touching the P, or that shape leaves a P here touching the P. So that's no good. So I appears there. I'm going to make it grey again. Blue here. I'm going to make it blue again, just for some random consistency. Actually, let's make P green to be consistent with the P at the top. Yeah, so this is all right now. We get a V down here. I'll make that purple because it's purple down there. And then we've got a new shape coming out here. And that could be part of... Well, now let's focus on the Z. The Z can't be like that anymore. It would block in 1 cell. It can't be like that anymore. It would block in 4 cells. So the Z is very clearly like that. I'll make that green as well. Now we've got this 1 cell. Theoretically that could be part of L, but that would block in 6 squares, 6 cells, which is impossible. So that must be part of the I as well. So now all the shapes we've marked are complete apart from this L down here. And now we've got a very different proposition for this. It could be Y, N, or I. Although I think that I is impossible, because this shape would have to be an L, and that would link up to that L. So I don't think I is possible. So this is N or Y, and takes one of those shapes. But never mind, I can't conclude on that. So let's go up here where we've got 4 shapes, 4 cells locked in and a 2 by 2. So that's clearly a P. I'll make that purple this time. P for purple. Now, up here, those 2 can't be part of the same one, or it'd be a P touching 2 other Ps. So how can we use them? Well, there are various possibilities. We could have an L there, or we can't have an L there though. If they're joined, it can't be a P. It would have to be an L like that. But they could be not joined. We could have an I up there and N there. In fact, yes, that's quite interesting. Actually, what can we do with the N? The N is this shape down here with the kind of step of 3 and 2. Now that is possible, as we've seen. And I quite like it as a possibility. But let's see what else is possible. Nothing else that touches the top, because that would block in cells. That would block in a P, which can't be there. So we can't, yeah, that would block in 6. So we can't touch the top of the grid with the N. But it could theoretically be that, except that would leave a P shape up here, or that. But that would also leave a shape that would, you'd have to fill this in as a P as well, so to allow an escape up there. So that's not possible either. So I think, and this is not possible, in case you're wondering about that, because it would block in, how many is that? 8 cells, and you can't fit pentomino shapes into that. So I think we have to assume that L is, the N shape is like that. Then let's put in a P shape to allow any escape from the top. This now can't be, sorry, P shape, that's an L shape. This now can't be an L shape, or it would be touching that one, so it's another I. Now here, I don't think, oh no, we've got this L to move up as well. I was about to announce a P in that area, actually, because I'm still using some cells here. Let's color those blue. Okay, so I was about to announce a P here because it couldn't use that cell, but remember this L is not necessarily complete, so that may not be right. Now how are we going to fill in this gap up here? L could go, yeah, that's interesting. It can't turn here or here, or it would be blocking in the wrong shapes, impossible sizes. So it could come down here and leave an N there. That is possible, except I think that's going to make Y impossible. Crikey, we've not got a lot of possibilities left. I'm not sure I can even see one possible. I think we're right so far, so something has to work. Ah, how about that shape? No, that would give us a P, but then the Y couldn't work. Crumbs, okay, there must be a way to make this work, because I'm very confident on all the deductions so far. But what am I missing here? That's got to be part of the long strand of the L. Ah, could it be like that? No, I've looked at that already. Ooh, how about like that? No, that's blocking in a 6 shape. I've looked at that. Oh dear, now what's gone wrong here? Something is not working. Yes, yes, yes. Now I can suddenly see that the red and grey up here is not, as I had said, this red wasn't the only way to allow cells to escape. You could also have grey and red there. Now, wouldn't give us the exact same problem? Yes, it would, but let's try it again. A grey eye up there, and these shapes to be part of a new, these cells to be part of a new shape. We've worked out it can't come down there because that gives us no possibility down here. So it is in fact a U pentomino there. And now we've got a slightly different problem, thank goodness. Now I've still got to work a way out of achieving this. L there. Yes. Then I can see a Z here, which would allow Y to be done. Yes, there it is. Good grief, that was hard to see. What a lovely puzzle. So L goes there. Now we get a Y down here. I'm going to make Y as yellow. Now the only way to get a Y in here that leaves both 5 cells below it to form one pentomino and 5 cells above it to form another is to have the Y positioned exactly like that. And that allows us to put in another Z there, green for consistency, and another V there, purple. And that is the solution to Ard's pentominous puzzle. And you can see that he wrote fill in puzzly in the grid, which is quite cute. I can tell you that's quite impressive because these letters that form the official pentomino designations don't really leave a lot of scope for making up words with them. So that's quite nice. So there we go. That's another pentominous puzzle done on the channel. Do let us know if you want to see more of these, because it's a type we've only come across recently, to be honest, and they are great fun, both in terms of spatial awareness, probably in terms of watching me struggle with that because it's not one of my skills, and Simon's very good at these, so maybe next time we have one it'll be back to him for them. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that puzzle. Thanks to Ard for sending it to us, and hope to see you again soon on Cracking the Cryptic. Bye for now.